All right. So now we've talked about recording content and making content, but what are some of the tools that anyone can use, regardless of the amount of experience or expertise that you have, to edit that content? Depending on where you're at financially or in your journey, you have a lot of options, including hiring someone to be a video editor. But if you are just starting out in this process, the chances are you have time and want to save money. And so I want to give you two of my favorite tools that will help you not only record content, but make it more enjoyable for the people that are listening, as well as make it as easy on you to edit and create that medium length and shorter form content that you might need for various platforms. The first tool, and the more global tool, and maybe the only tool that you really need, is a program called Descript. And this is available at descript.com. And it is a video editing tool that works with the cloud and has a number of AI features. But what it does is it makes editing videos as easy as editing a Word document. Now, in most cases, if you're going to edit a video, you can get something like Adobe Premiere or iMovie or a variety of other video editing programs. But what they will generally do is allow you to add clips and move them around and select transitions. And for a new user, it can be pretty intimidating, and it can actually be pretty hard to do some pretty simple things. With Descript, what you can do is open up a new project, drag the video file that you've created into the project, and it will show you side by side text from the audio of the video, as well as the video frame on the other side. And then along the bottom, it will show you the video timeline. And so for people of any level of experience can really get started right away editing videos that really improve your content. And it's really easy because if you're looking at the transcription, like a Word document, and you decide, hey, I wish I had said this piece of content earlier, you can simply highlight it, cut it, and paste it to where you want in the video. It's that easy. So it's as easy as editing a Word document, and it will change all of the video and timeline information along with your changes to the text. In fact, if you decide that you misspoke or said something that you would like to remove, all you have to do is highlight that and delete it. You can delete individual words, and it will edit that part of the clip out. The other really nice feature about Descript are two automated features that are available from the action box at the top. And the first one is shorten word gaps. If you do a podcast, and especially if it's just you may be following some notes, you may take a moment to review your notes, you may take a moment to take a drink of your favorite coffee or beverage, you may breathe or cough or do a variety of things where there is a little bit of dead air. Now, a little bit of dead air, some silences, some pauses can add dramatic effect, but for a lot of us, especially if you're collecting your thoughts, the dead air is just wasted, especially if you're searching for a word, something that should be more fluid, but for whatever reason, you just have to pause to reset. What you can do is select shorten word gaps, and you can actually select how long you want the gaps to be. Often a half a second is appropriate. And it will take all of the longer gaps, the one where you took 5 seconds because you couldn't remember the name of a certain financial tool, or you took 10 seconds to take a drink of water and review your notes. It will edit out all of those. And in fact, many times when I look at a video file that I've created, 54 minutes, and I shorten those word gaps, the total length of the video can shrink sometimes by 5 or 10 minutes. That's how much it can improve those. And the reality is everyone's time is precious. And so a lot of people would rather listen to a 46-minute podcast episode than a 54-minute podcast episode, especially if the content is exactly the same, especially if you've only removed dead air time. So the automatic shorten word gaps feature is super helpful in Descript. The second automatic feature that they have is called remove filler words. So if you select that, it reads your transcript and finds words that it thinks are filler words. Ahs and ums. Sometimes it will pick up like. Oftentimes, if we repeat ourselves and we say, I think we should do something, so you have repeated words, it will find those and delete those, as well as a lot of other known words that tend to just be placeholders while we're searching for the words that we want. In normal conversation, it doesn't really sound that bad, but especially if you're listening to a professional over the course of an hour and you are trying to get the relevant information only, stripping out to those filler words not only makes it more enjoyable for the person listening to it, but it makes you sound more professional and is certainly more efficient. And depending on how many times you use some of these verbal crutches like ahs and ums, it can actually really shorten the video as well. And to be honest, many of us use far more of these filler words than we think. And I think you would be surprised at how many it removes, especially when you're getting started with content creation. So between those two features, shorten word gaps and remove filler words, those can make dramatic improvements to the content that you have created and recorded. Oftentimes, if I'm looking for just speed so that I can just post stuff right away, especially if it's on some breaking news or some timely topic, I will record a video and then just use the shorten word gaps and the remove filler word features and post the output after that. And many times, those two quick automated features in Descript dramatically improve and make the final product appear to be almost a professional standard. So I would highly recommend Descript. It is actually very affordable too. It is a monthly subscription, but it makes things so easy that even experienced video editors like using this because it's intuitive and quick. Now, you can also do much more advanced editing with Descript. You can do a lot of the same features that you can in more traditional video editing programs with B-roll and audio improvements and transitions. But just from the standpoint of cleaning up the content that you're already creating in a fast, efficient way without requiring additional training or expertise, Descript is my tool of choice. The second tool that I want to bring up here is an online service called Opus Clip. Now, when I talked about using the long form to short form strategy, that probably makes sense to a lot of people. But finding the shorter clips from the long form content that you've created can be challenging. One, you have to go back through your long form content. You may have an hour's worth of content to review. It can be tiresome. It can be difficult to figure out what you should extract and how to get that piece of content down to 45 or 50 seconds. And so there are tools out there that will allow you to do some of these automatically. And Opus Clip at opus.pro is a great online service that will allow you to upload a video or link to it if it's already made public on a different platform. And it will search through that video based on what's being spoken in it. It will identify tips or highlights or particularly useful or intriguing segments, and then it can create clips with titles and descriptions automatically for you to download and upload to other platforms. It can also add B-roll automatically on top of it. So if you did a podcast and you were talking about traveling and checking luggage and boarding an airplane, it may put B-roll on top of your video that shows an airport or a luggage carousel or an airplane taking off. So it can add automatically even more visually appealing elements without you having to do anything. And so this is a great tool for automatically generating some of that short form content. More people will be likely to watch 40 or 50 seconds of your content than to watch 40 or 50 minutes of your content. And so while creating the long form content is the foundation for creating all these other pieces of content, a lot of people think putting that out there is going to be enough to get people to come in and search for what they want. But the reality is the short form content is what people that are maybe not even seeking you out will be willing to consume. And so you will probably get more eyeballs, more views, and more traffic from the short form content than you will from the longer content. And that's why it's super important to not just build your content, but to use these tools to create as much of the bite-sized content as possible. And Opus Clip does a great job of understanding what people are consuming and why, and applying that to your long form so that you don't have to constantly be sifting through and asking those questions. Again, Opus Clip is a subscription service, and it gives you 5 or 6 hours a month of content that it will search through. But I think it is a incredibly useful tool for extracting those interesting and actionable items from your content so that you can be discovered on the platforms where people are really active.